And now I'm going to add the Crmble Power-Up. So at the moment we are featured, so it's here. Okay, I'm going to give my Crmble team a name. So every time you install Crmble on a board, first thing you have to do is you have to select a previously created Crmble team, or like in this case, created. Okay, so we are ready to go. Now you can choose from some templates we prepared, but this time we are going to make a different approach. We are going to start from scratch. So I click on that button and there we go. My Crmble board is ready. And now first thing Crmble will ask me to do is to add some lists. Whether you add the lists directly here in Crmble or you do it as you are used to on the board, makes no difference. I'm going to create a couple of lists which will represent the stages of my sales funnel. Okay, so that's totally up to you. We came up with these ones we think are common ones. So you have a proposal, well, an inbox where all the new leads will be created. Then you have the discovery call. Then maybe you organize a visit. Then you have, after the visit, you would send your estimation, and then you have a proposal review. And then let's add a last list for the closed leads. Okay, there we go. So now we have the list. So if I create let's say a new lead here directly, just give it a dummy name. Okay, you will see that the Crmble frame is telling me that you can't see any Crmble fields or any Crmble field data here because this list hasn't been connected to Crmble. So we can whether click on this button or just by opening Crmble and heading over to settings, you will see the lists we just created on the board. And all I have to do is just click on the switch button to connect those lists to Crmble, so that Crmble can keep track of what is going on, how many cards are living on each list. And here, as you can see, there are a couple of other options. You can click on the pencil icon and you can change the color of this list so that it will be represented differently on the charts. We will come to that a little bit later. And you can make these stages part of a funnel or not. That's totally up to you. Sometimes you might want to have a list that just keeps track of the number of cards that are living there, but doesn't need to be necessarily a stage of the funnel to show you what's the conversion rate from one stage to another. Okay, so once we did this, we are going to go back to this new lead card. And now you will see that Crmble shows up and it's giving me this form that I can use in both ways. I can add from my contacts, I can link a contact to this card so that this card becomes a lead that I can work on, or I can create a new contact. So because I haven't created any contact before, as you can see, this is empty. So I'm going to just start creating a couple of contacts. So this is the right moment to answer any questions and to see if up until now everything makes sense so far.
Okay, Jenna just asked if it's possible to add more than one contact to the same lead or business opportunity, and I say yeah, obviously yes, it's possible from 2 weeks ago actually. So that's actually a pretty good question. So now, Alberto, if you have the possibility to add more than one contact to the same lead, I think Jenna and the rest of the lead will appreciate.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's exact. Thank you for the nice question. The timing was perfect. Yes, I'm going to use the opportunity now to explain the difference between a contact and a lead. So in Crmble, you have this contact section that is shared on a Crmble team level. So any board that you add to your Crmble team, I just clicked here on the bottom left button to access your Crmble team. So we just have one board, but if it happens that you install Crmble on more boards. And every time you do that, you select this same hunters team, it will get added to this Crmble team. And as a result, if I access and open Crmble from any board of the same team, I will have access to this address book. So that's what contacts is. It's just an address book. And we recently published the multi-contact, which brings also this role, new field. So I'm going to give this Henry Churches the customer role. I'm going to update, and I'm going to create a couple more contacts to illustrate this idea. So I think, let's see, Mary Watson, she's also a customer. Let's keep it simple for now and just add the names and the roles. So we create another one. So this is going to be the butler. So of course, butler's name is Alfred. Here, as you can see, we have some predefined default options, but in Crmble, you can customize a lot. So every time you want to customize something, you would jump to settings. And because this is a contact field, you jump to the contact fields tab, and there you have the role field. If you click on the pencil, you can add more roles. So I'm going to add butler. I'm going to save, and actually I'm going to add a few more. I'm going to add also the priest. We will need the priest to do this work. And what else? And maybe we should need a technician to help us out with all the gears that we need to record on tape the spirits and the ghosts. Okay, now I can go back, sorry, to contacts, and I can keep on adding information to Alfred in this case. This is going to be the butler. And I'm going to add now Mr. Michael P. And this is going to be the priest. And last but not least, our technician, let's call this one Elon Musk. Okay, he's going to be the one that will provide. Okay, so now that we have this contacts in place with its roles, I can click on this contact plus button here right above the contact card, and I can start adding Alfred. And as I add Alfred, it will show up as the butler. And now I'm going to add Elton Mast. He is the technician, which shows up here as well. And Mary Watson, which is Henry Church's wife, is going to show up. And Michael P is the priest. So here I have all the different contacts that have some relation with this lead, with this work. And then, by the way, I'm going to start filling out some of the details I have by default with Crmble, which are part of the core fields. So this was a phone call. Marking where the lead was created from will give us later, we will see that a little bit later, nice stats to see how my different lead generation channels are progressing. And this is going to add a deal value of $1,200. Okay, so and there is my first lead. And if I open Crmble reports, you will see that there you go. Crmble is going to tell me you have one lead. It's living actually in the inbox list. And here you can click any type of drop-down field, the role field or the source field. Maybe role doesn't make much sense, but here I would like to have a look and see, okay, where did this lead came from? Okay, it was a phone call. Okay, and what's the deal value amount? So $1,200. $1,200 is the total amount of deal value I'm dealing with. And I can save this view. So next time I open the reports, I will see source selected and deal value as well, which is the only currency or numeric value I've set up in Crmble. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to customize it a little bit better. I'm going to add some more lead fields. These are the fields that are relevant to what each deal represents. And keep in mind that you can add a contact multiple times to different cards, and each card would represent a different deal and a different job. So therefore you would need some fields to specify. So I'm going to start adding, using the plus button here, another drop down type of field, because I want to register some predefined options. And this is going to be type of counting. Let's make this counting type. Okay, I want to keep track of the different jobs they will hire us for. Okay. Funny ghosts. Okay, that's going to be one. So I've just added this one, and I can keep on adding more. Chatting pumpkins. Okay, very annoying chatting pumpkins, or just in case you have a problem with dancing skeletons at home. That's a very typical case. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, teasing spirits. Okay, so I think we have enough. So now I can go back to my lead and I can add this. I can mark. So once I have a conversation within the discovery call, I can probably already mark. So let's do that. I'm going to set a due date. I'm going to use a Trello feature for this. So I want, let's see, what time is it? Okay, in 2 minutes, I want Trello to remind me about making the discovery call. So I can say here, next discovery call, so that's a note for myself. Okay, next discovery call. So whenever Trello warns me with an alarm, I can have a look and say, okay, it's time for a discovery call. And then I would move this over to the second stage, which is where my lead is at now. And then I call the client. Obviously, I need a number for that. So I can, at any time, I can open the lead and I can add the number that I wrote down on a piece of paper. So, okay, so it's enough. There you go. So let's wait for Trello. It's going to let me know when, and while I wait, I'm going to add more fields. I'm going to add also, so every time I'm adding fields here with options, if someone wants to raise the hand or use the opportunity to ask something that maybe will help the rest of attendees. So I'm going to add, a dates type, dates field, intervention, when I'm planning the intervention. And I can set a color so that it will appear with this color on my calendar. And I can choose if I want this date fields to show up in Crmble's calendar or not. So in this case, I want it to show up. And here, as you can see, we added some options. So you can decide if you want to see, you will see that in a second here, the front of my card has no information. But if I jump over to the settings, I have these options. So I can click if I want to see the source in the front of the card, if that is important for me, or the creation date or the deal value. Let's just check them all. And you will see in a second that all the fields I've entered a value in will show up. If there is no value, Trello is not going to show me just the title of the field and with a blank value. So just the ones that I've filled out will show up here because I marked them accordingly in the settings. So I'm going to add another field, another date field here in the lead fields section, that's going to be the visit. When I finally schedule the visits to have a look and see what's going on in the haunted house. And again, I'm going to mark this front. Okay, and finally, I'm going to add the number of entities. So here I will pick, instead of a currency, it's just a number. So the entities I will need to clean. Okay, and I'm going to prepare for the next thing I will show another field. It's going to be a drop-down field. I'm going to call this services, because I will prepare a Google form and people will be able to pick from a predefined list of services, and these ones will populate this drop-down field. In order for this to work, you need to give it at least one option. Just a full stop will do the work, just one option, so that I can save the field, and the rest of options will be populated later on when we fill out and connect the form. Okay, so up until now, we discovered how you can create contacts. Just as a quick summary, here we created some contacts by hand. We will see in a second how to import contacts here. Sorry,
Alberto?
yeah. Yes.
They are making some questions. Some of them are related actually with how to make an import, and also how to create a contact from a Crmble contact, how to create a Google contact. In Google.
Okay.
So,
okay. So,
but also I saw here an interesting thing, which is that you can also edit the Crmble field instead of adding ones or removing others, or activate or deactivate. So if you go to settings and then Crmble contacts here, I would appreciate if you are able to change surname for last name, and then save the change. And after refresh, check if that's working. Last name. Okay, cool. Okay. So then now, if we go to one of the cards and we open and try to edit. Try to edit the contact here. Okay, so is last name there. Okay, so then it's possible to change the name and save, and then just by refreshing and open a card, then it's going to be changing there.
Okay,
thank you, Roberto.
Thank you. I just want to mention that you can change the name, but be careful with changing the purpose of the field. So it should be still serving the purpose of writing down a surname. If you change a job title, well, you get the idea. You should keep, if you need new ones, just delete the old ones. But especially the core fields, you shouldn't change the name if it's going to change the purpose of that field. Okay, so yeah, I love that people are asking things that I'm about to showcase. So I'm at that point. I'm going to import contacts. So in this case, if you go to the contacts section, you have two ways to look at this. You can look at this from a cards type of view. It's a summary. So it will show you here, Henry Churches is the main contact of this lead. It's going to show me in the form of a chronological order of cards Henry Churches has been linked to. We are actually planning on adding here more insights about the total amount of business Henry has created. Here at the top right corner, you can click and jump over to the spreadsheet, to the table view. And here you can do, you can filter by role. So let me see how many priests I have. Okay, it's just one. So you can use that. You can click on this burger icon. These options apply to the whole table. And here you have this action button, which looks still a different a little bit different in the contact section. We recently updated this button, but here you have the import option, and you can pick a CSV or an Excel file. And I'm going to do that straight away. I'm going to browse, and here I have already a contact CSV file. I'm going to open this, and now Crmble is showing me this mask where I can start mapping the columns of my spreadsheet with the Crmble fields. In this case, because it's just about importing contacts, no lead field shows up here, just the contact fields. So that's how I do it. This represents each of my contact fields in Crmble, and if I click these two arrow buttons, I will see a list of the columns I have available in my spreadsheet. So I start mapping those: last name, surname. I have phone number. If I have more than one, I can start clicking on add and give it a different label for each number. That's not the case, so forget that for the moment. Email address, company, yeah, there we go. Company, address as well, phone, and that's it. I have no other details in my source field. So I'm going to import around 15. You can import literally thousands, and you will see only a difference. Here you can double check and see if there are some contacts you don't want to import. So you have the opportunity here to filter and uncheck the results so that you can make a small selection before you import. So let's go and do the import thing. And it takes literally seconds. And as a result, I have more contacts available in my address book. But as you can see, not more physical cards on my board, because that's a different story. But now, if I want to create another new lead, I have my contact database available. So now I can pick any of the contacts I just import. So let's pick Noel Mercado. There we go. And I just created a lead to work for Noel Mercado on something. And I can start filling out details. So this was created by hand, but he contacted me by mail. And I had to work with him, and this is going to be a $2,000 job. And he has a problem with teasing spirits, and yeah, it's around, I would say, 5 entities from what I heard. Okay, so I update the lead. There we go. And now all of a sudden, I don't have to spend much time introducing contact details of my contacts. They are just there. I can select them. And if I go to reports, as you can see, Crmble is going to show me in a very graphical way that I have one lead on the inbox list and one lead on the discovery call list. And if I choose to have a look at this by source, one came from mail, the other one from a phone call. Okay, so that was the contact import. And now I want to show you how to use one of our most used out-of-the-box integrations. We call them toppings. It's just a funny word that makes sense with the Crmble branding. But these are integrations, and some of them are out of the box, so no extra cost involved. So I can connect a Google form, and I'm going to show you in a second. If you haven't used Google Forms before, it's a free and nice way to create and publish or send forms by email so that people can fill out information. I'm just going to use this one, and I'm going to copy it. Okay, let me see. Let me, yeah, let's pick this one. And I think I should be able to make a copy of this one. Yes, and counted hunters contacts. Oops, what a terrible typo. Hunters contact. Okay, make a copy. So the only thing to keep in mind when you create a form, apart from the title, obviously, Haunted Hunters, contacts, this is going to be a contact form, is to activate the responses option. So here, when you create a Google form in the Google Forms section, you click on responses when you are happy with your form, and you just activate the create spreadsheet. What this will do is create a new row for each form submission, because ultimately what we are going to connect with Crmble is this spreadsheet. So one thing to keep in mind here is you can't manually edit this. This just serves the Google form. And you will see in a second, if you go to Google Forms, you connect with the Google account that is the owner or creator of this Google form. In this case, it was my Crmble user. So keep in mind, you have to allow all this in order for not just this topping to work, but the rest of the Google topping. So this is quite important. And now, once we have our link account, you can add a Google form. You pick again the account, and you pick the last one I created, Haunted Hunters Contact. And now you select the sheet we just connected. And now in the same way we had with the contact import, you can link more details, because this is going to create cards, not only contacts. So we have the cards details section, and here I can actually use multiple fields. So I can say I want in the title the name and what the client wants. So I have prepared up front here a couple of answers, predefined answers, and just in case they want to book an inspection visit or a call, if the client wants us to call them, more info, whatever, they can pick it. I can add also to the card description. Again, let's use this just to illustrate this. And now just map the name and the email, and that's basically it. For the rest, the creation date will be filled automatically when the card will be created on my board, and the source will be filled out as well automatically. I could give it another name just to control, to say, okay, this comes from the Google form, but for now, let's keep it simple. I'm going to update this. So now my form is connected, and now I can jump to this form I just connected. And if I go to the preview version, I can say, I can write our good old John Appleseed at my mail, very famous mail service. And he wants to book an inspection visit. And once I submit this, I jump back to my board, and normally it's a cycle. It can take between 5 minutes and nothing. Here we go. There it is. So I published this form, someone filled out the form, and I can follow up on this directly here on my Crmble board. And not only that, Crmble has created for me the John Appleseed contact, which is all of a sudden available in my contact address book. So I can reuse John Appleseed, and I can edit John Appleseed, and everywhere John Appleseed has been linked to, its contact information will be updated as well. And as you can see, I have the creation date today, and it came from Google Forms, from the Google Forms source. All this has been filled out already. So now is the time to, again, a date, and yeah, let's say at what time is it again? Okay, 46, and I save this, due date, due soon, today at 46. Okay, so in my, here, as you can see, this is showing me that this is overdue. So I can see that immediately. So I could open this card and I can check this once I've had the conversation with Henry Churches. So this is using also the project management tools and features Trello provides, so it's compatible. And I actually already planned a visit with Henry Churches, and I'm going to visit this on November, Friday at 9 a.m. Okay, I'm going to update this. And now you will see in a second that if I open Crmble and if I open my calendar, okay, so this is October. Let's move to the next month. Here we go, Henry Churches at 9 o'clock on Friday. And here are the 2 due dates in blue. So here you have the legend due dates in blue and the visit in pink. That's a visit. So on the spot, I can see what type of appointment this was. So if I want Crmble to notify me and to remind me, I can use the iCal subscription feature, which I can use to subscribe from any calendar client I have. Whether it is a Google Calendar or it is a Apple Calendar, there is always a subscription feature. So I subscribe to the Crmble Calendar and I would get notifications on my mobile devices, on my computer, on my desktop notifications. So that's another great way to get notifications. Okay, so next thing I want to show you is how to do mailing. And very quickly, I'm going to connect again here my Crmble account. And this is going to let me send email and keep track of the conversations without leaving my Trello board. And not only that, I can predefine some templates I can use to win a little bit of time, to be more productive. And not only that, instead of saying hi there, I can edit this template and I can say, let me see, I can click, type the hashtag symbol, and I can pick the name, my Crmble contact name. I'm going to save the template. And now Crmble is going to let me send to this new lead, to John Appleseed, clicking on this Gmail icon on John Appleseed's contact card. Here I'm using my Alberto Google Workspace. In fact, you can use any workspace or free Google account. And if you connect multiple other type of email addresses to the Google account, you will have them here as well at your disposal. So you can do that. It's compatible with Microsoft, with Exchange, with other accounts. So welcome email. And here we go. Welcome image. This is using Markdown language. We have a link here to help you format this. Instead of using HTML, we make use of this nice language developed and created by John Gruber. If you haven't read John Gruber, I would highly recommend you jump to daringfireball.com. I love this man. Okay, so hi, John Appleseed. So it combined already to save time, and it's going to make use of the signature I've set up in my Gmail account. So I can send this. John Appleseed, this is not a obviously valid email account, so no one is going to receive, hopefully, this message, but Crmble is going to create a snippet so that I can very quickly follow up on the conversation and get a feeling
Alberto?
of, yes.
Could you also please come back to Crmble and then how to modify and how to get this template?
Yes. Okay. So I go back to the topping section, and all this happens in the Gmail topping. So here you have some templates you can modify, and we provide these templates so that you get a feeling by editing the template, how we got to introduce an image here and how it works. You can play around with this and learn more about Markdown language, but you can create your own templates from scratch using the big plus button here. So
okay, cool, super simple. Okay, and also when you are opening a contact and then you want to reach one of your leads.
Yes. Okay, so just save this template. And here I just want to mention, just the templates you switch on are available and selectable from the message composer. Okay, so if you don't want to use those ones, you can delete them or you can switch them off just in case you want to use them later on. So the next thing you wanted to see, sorry?
It's to open a contact, one of your leads, and then yes. Try to reach him reach her by email again, so they can see where to click.
Okay,
in order to send them an email.
let's call this new lead here. And okay. Here on the contact card, you have this Gmail icon. You click on that. So you have the email composer, and here you pick the templates. I switched all the templates off. I'm just going to use these two new ones. I'm going to use the follow-up. So it says, hi, Noel, because I defined the title like so, with hi and the variable of the contact name. So I can send that as well. So Crmble, if Noel answers at some point, Crmble will register a snippet of Noel's answer. And if I want to have a look or keep on doing my email stuff, because this is not going to replace by any means a client, a mail client, but it is going to help you keep track of the conversation. But I can click on this. Maybe I did that a little bit too fast. You have the link here to the email, and these two icons will show you that this was a sent email, okay, with the arrow upwards. So Crmble is going to open with the link that message, give it a second, so I can follow up on mail directly from the Gmail. Every time we are sharing on a demo the screen with Google Meet, or here in this case with Zoom, this takes a lot to open. But if you are not sharing your screen, it's much faster. So there we go. So here you can follow up, and obviously this was not a real address, so we get this message from the email server. Okay, so hopefully that was now a little bit clearer. Maybe I'm a little bit too fast. Okay, so after connecting, the next thing I wanted to show you is importing leads versus import contacts, which as a result is going to create a lot of physical cards to immediately follow up on. And this is quite handy when you are, especially when you are migrating from another service. So therefore, we are going to jump to the leads section instead to the contact section. By the way, the leads section, whereas the contact section is going to show you in any board of your Crmble team the list of contacts, the lead section is different on each board, because on each board you have different number of cards, different number of leads. Okay, so here we go to the action button, and again, we can pick the import option. And here, because it's about creating cards, we have a ton of fields to map, a lot of possibilities, like we had the opportunity to see when we map the form. Okay, so here again, this field, the card name, I can combine a couple of fields from my source file. So I can say, okay, name, surname, and company. That's how I want to name all the cards I'm going to create. And then I'm going to use the one lost feature, which I will come to in a second. But for the moment, let's pick, I have a status column that tells me if a lead is won, lost, warm, hot, cold. You will see that how this works in a second. Card description. I'm going to add the type of hunting because I want to have this available on my Trello card. So as you can see, we have the card details section, the one lost section. Now we are going to fill out the contact details to create new contacts. Surname, I'm going in this case to add Yes, it's just one phone, but I think in this case, I prepared just to show this 2 email addresses. So in this case, I'm going to map the work address, but I'm going to add a new placeholder. I'm going to pick on personal, and then I'm going to click on personal email. Okay, there we go. So these are the contact fields. This is the contact I'm going to create that is going to create the lead as well. So company, job title, I think I don't have a job title, but I do have an address. No role for the moment. Source, I think I have a source type of field. Yes, creation date, that will be created automatically. Deal value, I think I have deal value. Okay, what else? Counting type, interesting. Yeah, type of counting, I have that as well. Intervention, nothing. Services, not, yeah, the rest is the number of entities. I think I don't have that. Okay, cool. So I have everything I need to create my lead. And now on a second step, let me drink. Okay, so now I can also map, if I have that piece of data in my source file, I can use any type of field that specifies the stage I was in dealing with this leads on the other system I was using. I was using a spreadsheet. So this is a huge leap forward from using a spreadsheet as a CRM. So I can map that as well. So all I have to do is pick the source field that focus on the stages. So that's the column I have. If I move over here to my file manager, I think this is in downloads. No, desktop. Okay, here. So I have these columns. So I have source and I have stages, new lead, first call, and so on and so forth. I don't need to have the same name. You will see that in a second. But I select this field, and now I select the touch point field. So this is going to give me the list of stages I've created on my board, and these are the different options I have on my source field. So let's say new leads, I want to map them on the inbox list. And all the leads that are tagged as first call, let's discovery call. Yeah, that will work. And in progress, let's use proposal review, which makes sense. So I don't need to have necessarily the same amount of options here, but it's quite useful if I can match with the closest one available in my new sales funnel. So when I click on continue again, I can make some filtering here. Let's just import the leads. Okay, this takes a little bit more time because it needs to create with Trello service for each card. But once it's done, now my leads section looks a little bit different, and I have a lot of new leads. And in fact, if I close this window, here I have a lot of leads imported with its state. So this was lost on the discovery call. Let's move this to closed. But on the other hand, I won one on the inbox in my first phone call. Okay, so I'm going to send this to the visit. This one paid already. So now this is taking me directly to show you one of our latest updates, which was the possibility to mark won leads and lost leads. And this is important for 2 reasons. For now, we have published a report that is going to help us set a goal. I'll show you in a second where you can set the goal. In this case, we have a monthly goal of $8,300. That's the monthly goal I've set. And here you have this wins summary, which is going to tell me how many leads I've made this month in comparison with the previous period, the previous month, and how much deal value I've won this month compared with the previous month. Here is the list of all the leads that have been marked as won. And here I have a comparison of won by leads or deal value. This is going to split the month in days, and it will give me the opportunity to compare day by day if that's important to you. So there are a lot of, well, I wouldn't say a lot, but a couple of nice options here you can dynamically pick to get some different reports out of the box that focuses on our revenue of the company to set goals. If I click over to a yearly view, this is going to show me, this is going to multiply by 12 months my monthly goal, and as a result I have 100,000. Okay, what else? If I go to reports, we introduced a quick filter that is going to let me see just the won ones. So there we go, I have 5 won leads. It's going to show me what's the total deal value of these 5 won leads, and I can have a look and see where they came from to see what lead generation channel works better than the other. And I can see where at what time in this timeline chart where the leads were created. So I can take snapshots of this. I can use the zoom out of my browser, obviously, and I can take snapshots. I can take snapshots of the lost, what I've lost in deal value. And I can combine this with more filters. I can show archived. Imagine you accumulate thousands of cards here on the closed list, and you can archive all the cards in this list. And then you would think, oh my God, I can't have a look at the reports now. I lost track of the archived ones. I only have now in my report 15 leads. So you can click on filters, you can click on archive, and it's going to bring back the cards I've just archived. So I can do that. The same filters apply for the leads table. So I can go and I can say, okay, just give me a report of the won ones. And there we go. I can click here because I archived some of them instead of 5. I just see 3. But if I click on, filters, show archived, it's going to show me the 8 won ones. Sorry, not 5, 8. So I could click here and, for instance, export this to send this to a manager or to a colleague to have a look and make some extra reporting in Excel, for instance. And here, very quickly, you can go into settings, the general tab, and you can set your own monthly goal. So let's say 10,000 instead of 8,300 something. Okay, so if we go back to the dashboard, if I click on monthly, so 10,000, there we go. That's my new monthly goal. If I click on weekly, it's going to do the math. It's going to give me the weekly goal regarding the monthly goal I entered. Okay, and I think we went pretty much through everything, and it's, yeah, I think 1 hour later. I think it's time for a raffle and for some questions, I think.
I think, are we done with all the questions? No.
Yeah, I think I have here one from Alicia. It's saying, without answer anymore, you can create another option, one loss without answer. Alberto, could you please maybe open one of the leads? And
yes. I saw another interesting question I'm going to answer straight away after this one. So yes, so is it about lost, this one Alicia is asking?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, yes, the lost one, I didn't dig too much into this, but here this is going to be important very shortly, because now it is also very important to write down, to mark the reasons why you are losing leads. So here you have some predefined options and you can customize this list. And this is going to give you nice reporting options by defining those main options. You can add some notes to specify a little bit better and to elaborate on this. But let's keep it simple. You save and you will have in a short, I can't say exactly when, but in the reports option, you will see a new space where you can have a ranking and follow up and see for yourself what's the most given reason for losing leads, which is very important to boost your sales and improve your sales funnel. Okay, hopefully that question is answered. Very quickly, I saw that someone asked, can you use something different than dollar values in the deal value and the goal? Well, in fact, yes, you have in settings, this is going to take the core deal value field. So if I go to the lead fields and I search for the deal value, this has been configured in dollars by default, but I can go in here and change that to euros. And I save it, and now this is going to show up in euros. So there is just one deal value at a time that you can use as the deal value for goals and this type of reports. But yeah, you can change it. You can set it up from the start and make it the currency you mainly charging your services.